What's up? I got my boy Josh on the line. You agreed to do a video with me, and I challenged him to guitars versus synthesizers. And the genre I put forward is G-funk. And I have written here, Josh, what does G-funk mean to you?
What does G-funk mean to me? Like lead sounds that I think of when I think of G-funk, hip-hop and classic funk R&B stylings. Because when I think of G-funk, I think of like Snoop Dogg, I think of like George Clinton and some Parliament stuff right around there.
I guess like Gin and Juice would probably be most well-known G-funk song. It is definitely one of those rap genres where the rapper just like transports you. You really get a good picture of life at the time, which is really great and means it's worth checking out, and is also not something we're going to touch upon at all because we're looking at it through the perspective of music instrument nerds.
I guess so, but I think even then, saying that we're music instrument nerds implies that we have some level of expertise with music and instruments, which is maybe it's maybe not so apt either, quite honestly.
Not a statement you're fully willing to commit to.
Yeah, I listen to enough G-funk where I feel comfortable identifying G-funk if I hear it.
That would be a good segue into talking about how we broke down the musical styling of G-funk.
Well, I heard a lot of G-funk that sampled bass from like a classic R&B tune or something like that, or a Motown thing, and some of the other examples I found were like a synth bass, like a really beefy synth bass, like kind of like filling out the mix in the back.
But yeah, so we broke it down into 3 component parts, which was bass, a lead, and then rhythm guitar. So this is kind of pulling from the idea that the basis for a lot of G-funk tracks would have been sampled from like 70s era disco and funk records. Yeah, so I mean, I think with the rules set up, that was a pretty good foundation. I do want to give a rundown of like the different ways I put together the sounds for the tracks we were delivering.
Okay.
For my bass sound, I'm using the Volca bass. Got 2 oscillators. The first one just giving me the sawtooth wave. And then the second one comes in there, a square wave on an octave up, and it sounds like bum 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 bum. I also have the really fast LFO just to provide a vibrato sound. So for my rhythm guitar, because I have to use a synth and not a guitar, I'm here using Roland Sound Canvas. It's an SC55, and I've got the clavinet coming out of it. I think the closest thing to a funky guitar sound I can get, which sounds like pretty funky. And then to up the funk, I have an auto wah. So for my last element to this, it's the West Coast whistle, and I have my Korg R3 here. I took this preset on it. It's called the 700s lead, and then I just tweaked it around a bit. I put the second oscillator directly in tune with the first one, adjusted the portmanteau amount, and then just totally made the effects on it dry, which sounds like this.
I'm sitting next to a 1967 Trainer YBA1 Bassmaster amp. It's my guitar amplifier. I had a bass, a rhythm guitar, and a lead guitar. And I used the lead guitar with, I believe, some gain. One of my thinkings was, I don't necessarily have the pedals and the tech in order to make some convincing G-funk sounds. So I might go direct in and use a bunch of virtual instrument tools. I thought that, it wasn't in the spirit of what we were trying to accomplish here. So I worked really hard to just try to make within the limits of what I have available, tried to make that work. One of the main pedals I relied on was an envelope filter. I used a crazy tube circuits envelope filter and bit crusher in one. And I used the envelope filter pretty extensively on the lead sounds. I used a slight flanger on it that is like barely audible, but it just kind of gave it a tonal quality. I'm sick of talking about this sort of stuff. Why don't we hear what it sounds like?
I'm not sure I'm ready for this level of charisma to outshine me.
Roll the tape.
Oh yeah, good work. In the spirit of this being a competition, I kind of knew I'd take the L on the rhythm section, kind of knew that I'd get the win on the lead, which is really one where I stacked the competition against you. That said, I think you put a very valiant effort towards trying to get that West Coast whistle synth sound on an instrument and a set of pedals that are like barely designed to make that kind of sound.
I'll say this, like, yours sounds definitively more G-funk for a number of different reasons.
Yeah.
One of those reasons is certainly that whistle synth.
I associate G-funk with synth bass, but your bass sounds good as hell. My weakest bit is definitely like my quote-unquote rhythm guitar. When you're playing rhythm guitar, it's a guitar playing rhythm guitar. It sounds right in a way that mine doesn't.
I think there's something to be said for maybe a band or an ensemble that has all of those instruments available.
As far as I'm concerned, this guitar versus synthesizer battle was ended up being a bit of a tie in the end.
If nothing else, the like general sound and also just kind of like writing quality of yours, I think was victorious here. I will say that just as a cohesive unit, yours is definitively G-Funk. Mine is kind of like, yeah, man, this could be G-Funk. You know? If that makes sense.
Well, but honestly, who cares what we think? Let us know in the comments who you think won the battle. I had a lot of fun doing this. Like, it was a lot of fun to work with you. I'd definitely do it again.
Yeah, I would love to.
And maybe we can pick a genre that's a bit more fair to guitars.
All right, like this month we're doing polka. You know.
If you out there have any idea what genres of music would work well in a synthesizer versus guitar battle, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for when the next one comes out. You gotta do it, man.
I'm flattered that you referred to whatever the fuck I just did as charisma, though. That's nice of you.